Welcome to the Opinionated Arguments podcast. It's your boy ARSNL. Alongside me is my boy Oric.
What up?
And this is episode 4. This episode is Major 4 qualifier week 3 recap. And this week is Major 4, man. We have a lot of crazy matches beforehand. We're going to go over, discuss them, and we're going to talk about this upcoming weekend, bro. It's Major 4. And before we hop into everything, like, how did you feel about these matches?
We had some good matches. Not that many upsets. A bunch of 3-0s. But yeah, like we had a couple close ones that are really good, and probably the biggest upset, first match of the weekend.
Is being taken a place in Ohio. It was gonna be New York Subliners event, but it got canceled. It's a no crowd like event, but you have Theflank and Scump's watch party at the event. So hopefully it's nice. The matches for the week, honestly, it looks like it made me super excited for the event. I really had a good time just watching the matches, and it's super competitive. But before we hop into the matches, I have like basically some topics and stuff that we're gonna talk about. We're gonna go over is OpTic the #1 team after the qualifier transitioning into LAN. Champs is finally announced. It got announced in Vegas this year. Some rumors about some roster changes, and we want to shine some light on the Elite Challengers champs. And that's the first thing that we're gonna do. We want to show love to the NA Elite Stage 3 champions, man. They took home 50K. We have M7, and the roster consists of Spart, Neptune, Prolu, and Mohawk. You have anything you want to say about them?
Yeah, I mean, I always say that an expansion should have happened maybe a year or two ago. But this is an example of a team that could easily get in the pro scene and at least, take a couple of the bottom tier teams and probably, get like top 10, top 8 at an event. But they're a good roster. Mohawk didn't carry, but he did his thing and for sure deserves a spot. I mean, the other 3 have already had a spot. And you could say like, oh, they could be on a bench spot, but they're taking over challengers, and it's kind of cool to see. I know Parasite said that they're seen as the pros, even though they're in challengers. So it's kind of cool that there's like high tier gameplay going on in the challenger scene. So kind of cool, man. I'm happy for this team.
Yeah, and one thing that I wanted to know is Mohawk took a break. Like, he literally put on Twitter, he missed like maybe 2 or 3 cups, maybe 2 cups, about his mental health and stuff like that. And the fact that he could come back and like they formed this team when he came back, and the fact that they were able to win it all is crazy. Like, Mohawk definitely deserves to get a spot. Like you said, the rest of them have already had their chance to be on teams and stuff like that. So the only person who hasn't got a chance to be on a pro team is Mohawk. And I think that last year, if Scrappy didn't get picked up, it would have been Mohawk. But yeah, man, shout out to them. Hopefully.
And onto their seating, that's actually true. Mohawk got picked up with very low pro points, meaning they got one of the last places in the qualifier, and coming from the last seed and winning the whole thing, it's kind of cool to see them, upset a lot of teams.
Yeah, like, I think that yeah, man, just shout out to them. Like, the people don't understand. We spoke on it last podcast about the rigorous schedule of being a challengers player, and the fact that they won it, and then like they have like 2 cups after that they have to grind for. And I don't know, man. It just like this. It's a grind, bro. But hopefully they get some more. They get, like, with this win, they get some more looks. They get some eyes. People are looking out for them. But yeah, man, we want to hop into the next champions, the EU champions, and we have Team Unnamed. So this is a pickup team as well. Like, they had to pick up Furious Liam last minute, and he came through. And dude, they destroyed their competition. I was watching this one. They literally they played super duper good, bro. I think they won 4-0. It's crazy because they beat Team Notorious, the favorites to win the tournament, like 4-0. They sweep them. So shout out to them. Shout out to Liam, Rafi, Mythics, and Henry, bro. Like, they put on a show, and hopefully this puts some eyes on them and gets them to to move up in another like move up and get picked up in a league spot maybe.
I mean, yeah, look at some names that they beat: Maple, Weeman, Metals, Denza, Vortex, Harry, Suckery, Yako. All these like known EU challengers players that also had a time in the pro scene. Maybe not in CDL era, but definitely beating some big name teams. And for a team to be a pickup and upset a lot of these teams, yeah, that's kind of rewarding, man. It's kind of cool to see them.
First match that we're gonna go over is Toronto versus Vegas. So this is the revenge map, bro. Like, it's crazy. It was the first match of the day for Friday. Super duper crazy events. Toronto drops Standy. They pick up Hixie. They go to the event and win it. So people were asking if like Standy was the problem, and Standy got picked up by Vegas, and they showed that Standy was not the problem, man. Overall, like it was like a really good series, bro. Probably like CDL said that it was a series of the year. It went down to a 5-5 round count. Game 5. Yeah, dude, super intense.
Yeah, Kleenex, first map, Kleenex did really well. Dropping a 1.35 KD, went on a 7-kill streak. Pretty good performance coming in from Kleenex, going up against a guy like Standy. But then on map 2, Standy went off, dropping 12 kills for Legion and winning an S&D that I thought Ultra was pretty good at. So kind of an upset there starting off the series. Temp also did pretty good, but I think Standy took over. And then in map 3, it was a back and forth control. Legion had a 2-0 lead. Ultra brought it back, but it was close. And at the end, Standy also went off again, dropping 35 kills with a 1.84 KD. And I think that Standy, this series going on, he showed out, and then onto the fourth map, where I thought, Legion might have a chance to close it out. But I mean, Standy went off. I don't know what happened. But then again, like I said, Kleenex clutched up for this team, for the Ultra team. And yeah, and I think, it was a back and forth with this SMG battle that they had going on. And in this map 5, Legion goes up 5-1 and Ultra brings it back, brings it 5-5. Legion's able to clutch up and Standy goes 10-6. So I mean, at least Legion closes out on this team. I think, he had a motive, and yeah, it was a good match coming from Standy.
Yeah, like one thing I wanted to know, like throughout the whole maps, is like basically it was a Temp and Standy show. Like Temp really showed out, had a good performance against Scrappy, and even when it comes to like the map 1, they lost, but they had a solid map out of TJ. I think if Clayster would have played better, everything would have been fine. Like they would have been able to make the hard point closer. I don't know if they would have won. Going into map 2, Standy and Temp, bro. Both huge maps, going crazy. The Expo control, bro. Honestly, the fact that Vegas keeps spamming this, they said, Clayster said in one of his like pregame like interviews that they love this map. Yeah, they actually love this map, so they're gonna keep spamming it. And I don't know if a lot of teams like really enjoy this map as much as they do, but the fact that they're gonna keep playing it has like makes people have to be good at this map. But yeah, man, I want to definitely show love to Scrap and Kleenex. And yeah, bro, that round, like the map 5, the play that Standy made, the streak that was called, the teamwork out of both teams like showed. But like at the end of the day, bro, Vegas came out with the win, and this is a huge win for Vegas, simply because it's just storylines. They make it into winners bracket, and like if they do good at this event, like they're like helping their chances of going to champs, bro. Like they're getting closer and closer to being in like points range for champs. So like, yeah, bro, shout out to Vegas, dude. Like shout out to Vegas. And one thing I guess like the thing that like popped up in my head after like all of this is Toronto didn't have a good showing online. Like, how will they perform on LAN? I know, like, I've seen a lot of people talking about, like, they'll probably bounce back. But, like, after, bro, you're starting in losers, and you just won the tournament before. Like, you're starting in losers, bro. Like, how, like, mentally, that got it. You have to be checked. Like, if you don't, you just came off a win, and you go home, and you just get you just lose close maps. You lose. I think they lost a lot of 5-5 like last maps, bro. They lost a lot of close series. So yeah, like how do you feel
I think
Toronto?
Scrappy
Yeah.
said that like he has like a hate towards online COD, and he thinks that it isn't fair enough. And coming from one of your best players to say that and complain about that online, and then you probably will have a bounce back from him on LAN, and just to see maybe their teamwork come alive on LAN. I think that they have good LAN. I know it's a good thing to say, but they have a LAN experience of winning. So I think that comes in play. Um, and I really do think that they're a bounce back team. I don't know if they're gonna make a switch, but I think that for them, this is like their final team. And for sure, they're more of a LAN experience team. Some people are like online teamers, they only play good online, and some people only play good on LAN. I think this team, with their teamwork and Scrappy probably, shit talking a little more, he might play a lot better on LAN and help them out on the slaying side. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, I was leaning towards it. I don't know if Ultra would make a switch, but I think it's never too late. I don't think the Hixie for Standy was the best switch they could have made. Do you think they have a switch that they could make, or is this their final team? What do you think going into the last two majors?
Yeah, I think there are all a lot of options. There's really nothing that they could do, especially when it comes to that sub role. There's not that many like, unless they reach into their challengers bag, but it's super risky to do that before champs. Like they've already solidified their spot, like in champs. So yeah, bro, I feel like they have to make it work with Hixie. I feel like this was a bold move, and everybody said that when they dropped Standy, it was a bold move. And then the fact that um he is on Vegas now, it's like you don't really have any any other options. So I think that knowing them, they'll probably try to make it work, and they got to champs, so they don't really have to stress it. But they have to definitely they have to have a good showing this event. If they don't have a good showing, like yeah, they just came off a win. It's like a mental check though. Like I know Scrap said he doesn't like online, but he's a pro, bro. Like that comes with being a pro. Like your online matches are very important for your seeding and your LAN matches, dude. So it's just like, so yeah, I think that this is their last team. I don't think that they have any other options. Hopping into the second match is Rocker versus FaZe. This series was interesting, man. Rocker took FaZe to a last map, and I was impressed by it, but it's still just something about Rocker just doesn't feel right. Something like, yeah, they're able to take FaZe to last map and stuff like that, but I think it was more FaZe than Rocker. Like I think FaZe did that to themselves in certain situations. But yeah, man, like hopping into like map 1, it was a Hydro HP. FaZe beat them 250 to 75. Like they dominated. The overall like the gist I got from this series is like Abizi, bro. Like Abizi had 3-piece montages this whole series. Yeah, bro. Like I really want to see how FaZe HP looks on LAN. Like that's one thing that popped up in my head is I really want to see how FaZe HP looks on LAN just because of the dominant showing. Map 2, they win 6-4. It's a 2.5 KD for Celium. Vance had a good performance, like overall, like to try to keep his team into it, but at the end of the day, like FaZe had the momentum for map 1. Map 3, Expo Control, man. Like I said, with the Vegas, a lot of teams are spamming it, I guess, to get reps in, but Rocker come off with the win. It was just an overall like good team performance. No standout players on that map, just a good team performance from Rocker. And I think that FaZe probably doesn't like that map. I think that FaZe probably is one of the teams that don't really like Control or that don't really like Expo. But hopping into the map 4, this is where I think Rocker actually wakes up. Like they wake up and they're able to take a hard point off of FaZe. Cammy and Afro did really good. And FaZe is still like somewhat inconsistent with their hard points. That's why I want to see how they perform on LAN. Like if they're gonna still be inconsistent with their HPs, or are they gonna like be able to get the LAN buff and start taking them? And then we go into the map 5 with it's an intense 5-5, bro. FaZe win it. Simp has a great map. Exactly what they needed, bro. Like out of him, to be honest. Like he teed up when he needed to tee up, and Mboze played well as well. Like he went off, bro. So like good win for FaZe, but it's still concerning for them. This match just was concerning for both teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think honestly think there's like people are saying that FaZe are trying out maps in these series because they know that online matters, but they take it more of let's try our vetoes. This could have easily been a 3-0. If you look at the Expo, like you said, this might not be FaZe's favorite map, and they just played it just to get reps. But if they win that map 3, this is a complete shutout 3-0. I mean, they won the first map 250-75. Like that's improving. We're watching like the Mboze, the BO4 Simp duo, that we're used to watching this team.
Yeah.
And I feel like we haven't got that from them all year. And it kind of made me happy because, we know Mboze's good, but we haven't seen that from him. Map 1, Mboze goes 38-12, dropping a 3.17 KD and went crazy that map 1. Cell goes off map 2, 10-4. FaZe could have clutched this 3-0, easy peasy. But they wanted reps, and map 3 goes round 5. Rocker clutches up. Cammy and Afro go off. Rocker had a 89-point lead on map 4. It was 166-77. FaZe brought it back, wasn't able to close out. Afro drops 33 with a 1.5 KD, and honestly probably clutched that map because if not, it would have been a 3-1. Fame went 15-28. Maybe there's some issues with him in hardpoint. But then map 5, they go around 11 and FaZe is able to clutch up. Simp drops 14, Mboze drops 11, and we kind of get that, sub duo that we're used to watching FaZe. And it was good. It felt like a fun series, reminiscent of the BO4 days, but yeah, it's a really good series.
Yeah. And I guess the question for the series for me is what does FaZe need to improve on? Like I think like when it comes to like the inconsistencies of hardpoint, them losing like maps like control maps and stuff, is like what are the main thing that like they need to improve on going into this major?
Yeah, I think comparing their Vanguard season to this season, and I know it ain't same for but I do think that in Vanguard it was opposite. I think they were amazing at respawn, and in this game they just don't have the consistency in respawn. When they do play well, it looks good and it feels good. But they're relying way too much on the S&D, and I think that will bite them against like a Optic who can scrap out a win, or Surge who has gone round 11 against FaZe and FaZe has gotten the win. I know FaZe is really good at clutching an S&D, but I think that at some point is going to fall through, and they're going to have to win the respawns. Their control game is good enough to go 50-50 on map count, but their hard point is very inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get out of them. And I mean, as long as Simp and Mboze are going off, I guess they're going to win. But we haven't gotten that all season.
Yeah.
But I do think their hard point is what they lack the most this season.
Yeah.
My question coming from this series, Mboze and Simp had a amazing series back to their SMG duel for this team and maybe for the future, because we don't know if who would stick or if this whole team is going to stay. Who do you think is more valuable, Mboze or Simp?
I definitely think Mboze. I've been a Mboze fan. Like I've been saying that Mboze, even when people like wasn't giving Mboze credit like in previous games, I've always understood like how hard that role is that he plays and how good he plays it. Like he's always the first person to go in, and he makes his life useful. Like he's like a walking two-piece, bro, or he's a walking entry. In S&D, he breaks teams down, and I'm glad that he's finally getting like the praise that he deserves, because a lot of times like when you have Simp on your team, like you can get overshadowed, or like people could just be focused on Simp. But yeah, like I think Mboze throughout this game, He's been doing the heavy lifting with the slaying, so I definitely think Mboze is more valuable.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think you can slot in a pred for simp, even like a hydra for simp. I think a BZ is more valuable. Does the dirty work. And it kind of showed this series, but yeah, I agree with you.
Hopping into map 3, we're talking about Vegas versus Florida. Just hopping into this dude, Vegas showed dominance throughout this whole series, man. They 3-1 Florida. Standy continues to impress, like to look or to be impressive with his showing. He's looking like an MVP player. I'm definitely excited to see how these guys transition this momentum onto land. We hop into map 1. Florida wins it 250 to 239 while getting outslayed. I think that I guess they just caught like Vegas lacking in certain situations and just prioritize Hill. Map 2, Vegas wins 6-5, super close S&D. It came down to a 5-5. It was basically like Standy and Clay versus Fellow and Brack. So we hop into map 3, Expo Control. Like I said, they've been spamming Expo Control. Vegas wins it 3-2. Great like teamwork out of Vegas. Even though it goes to like last round, they were still able to close it out. We hop into map 4, Embassy HP. Vegas wins a close one, man, like 250 to 247. Huge game out of Temp and Clay. And then Standy continues to show his consistency. TJ didn't really have like a crazy series, but he was just there doing what he needed to do, doing the dirty work.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this series was good for Legion. I think they showed that they can close out maps against Florida, who obviously isn't a great team. But they're outslaying them. They're outslaying them by a lot, and that goes a long way for for these lower teams and to separate between each other. I mean, in map 1, as you can see, the Legion completely outslayed Florida. Florida was able to bring it back. A close match. Cap and Vickle did their thing, probably carried them to the win. But yeah, like I said, Legion slayed them out in second map. Legion was up 5-3. Mutineers bring it back, go around 11. Brack had that snaking against Clay for round 11, and Brack kind of trolled. Clay said after the series that snaking shouldn't be a thing. Luckily, he won that 1v1. Maybe the whole series goes a different way if Florida goes up 2-0 in this series. Yeah, we have a Brack went 12-7 that map for the loss. Standy went 10-7. Clay had a good map. Then map 3, like you said, I think this is Legion's best map. They outslayed Florida by a lot. This was probably their best map for sure. I can probably say that. Everybody did good. Standy, Tej, Temp, Clay, everybody did their thing. Brack didn't have a good map. That might have hurted them. Him not performing well against Legion. But then in map 4, I think Florida could have won this map. Probably had a chance to win this map, take a map 5. But Standy closed out the series 32-23 with a 1.39 KD. And for my question of this series, is Standy currently a top 3 sub? He's showing out every series. He's helped this Legion team come out from the gutter. And I think he's performing. What do you think?
I don't know if I would give him T3. I definitely think he's up there though. I think he might be like, because when I think of T3, I think of instantly like shotzzy, Pred, even Hook, even like shotzzy, Pred, Hook,
Hydra.
Yeah, Hydra, Mboze, like. So I think he's like showing his dominance as a sub player. He's showing like how impactful, how valuable he is as a sub player. Going into this like major, you could say that you could argue it, but I wouldn't say that he's a top 3. I wouldn't give it to him, but he's definitely a top 5 in my opinion. He definitely could like compete with those boys, like with the Hydras, the Shotzys, the Preds. Like he definitely can compete with them. And for my question is like what's the ceiling for Vegas, man? Could we ever see like a T3 placement out of them? I think they have a lot of like they're showing this qualifier showed like the potential of them, but now they have to turn that potential into actuality with like having a good major. Like, do you ever think that we could see a Vegas T3?
Honestly, I think T3 is pretty high. Maybe you could see a top 4. I think that this team is more of like a vibey team, like a LA Thieves. They go off momentum, especially like Clay, Temp. I mean, even Tej. Remember the OGLA days? Like this team is definitely off of vibes, and they're on an up right now. They have huge momentum going into this major, 4-1. They got pretty good seeding going into it. And they have a good matchup. Their round 1 matchup is really good. They're not going up against Texas. You know, it's probably one of their best matchups going in, best
Yeah.
bracket. I do think they can get a top 4. Top 3 would be a lot, but I mean, you never know. You know, like I said, for me, Standy going into this currently as we stand, I think Standy has showed enough where him and Temp can, you know, do good enough where they can carry this team to top 3. You never know.
Yeah. Okay. And then hopping into the fourth match that we're gonna talk about, we have Optic versus Breach. Basically like a rematch besides taking out Vivid and putting in Crimp. That's somebody that I want to like just start off the rip and highlight. Like Crimp had his breakout series. Like Boston literally outslays Optic through this whole series, but it didn't matter because of the teamwork of Optic. That shows the like how dominant Optic is. It was crazy out of them. So we get a map 1, Mercado hard point. Optic like continues to show their dominance, bro. They win 250 to 193. Dashy had to takes over with a 1.6. Crimp does good too. He had a 1.35 to try to keep Boston like in the match and stuff. So then we hop into map 2. Optic wins 6-3. Crimp continues to fry with a 1.6. Ghosty has an insane S&D with a 2.75. We hop into map 3. Boston boys, they wake up, man. They wake up, they get a 3-2 win. And this is where they really outslay Optic. And Crimp was like the leader of that charge. Like he was shooting bodies and stuff like that. He was playing like super disrespectful, but in a sense, that's what Boston needed. Boston needs someone who like is aggro and confident and like got that fire to them. They go into map 4, and like even after the control loss, like Optic is able to bounce it back and look good as they continue their HP dominance. They win 250 to 175. And honestly, bro, just a great showing out of Optic. Huge rotations out of like shotzzy when it comes to these hard points. Like his rotations as a sub player has been like spot on. Yeah, man, I want to just shout out to the Optic boys, but also shout out to Crimp, bro. Like Crimp had a good showing.
Yeah, I think I'm happy. You know, coming from an Optic fan, I'm happy that we saw a series where Hook and shotzzy aren't carrying. They're doing close to even in the series, and we had a Brucey show. I think I'm happy with the champs spot that's going to be in Las Vegas, and you know that's the first major Dashy won. So for me, this is Dashy getting his momentum. You know, Crimp, like you said, had an amazing series. Map 1, he goes 27-20 for a 1.35 KD. I thought they had it. I mean, you know, we haven't seen Optic lose a hard point this major qualifier. Dashy went off. I'm happy to see, you know, Bruce taking over. Map 2, Crimp had another good map. He had a 1.67 KD. But Ghosty, we saw Ghosty. We saw the Ghosty that people talk about in challengers going 11-4. Yeah, I mean Crimp still had a good map, so that was good to see from the challenger boys. Then in control, you know, Breach go up 2-0. Optic bring it back round 5, but yeah, like you said, Crimp again, and he dropped 38 kills for 29 deaths, and you know they clutch up. And I think that this is where Ghosty had a bad map and maybe might be a problem in the future. And we saw this from Illy time and time where he would do bad. And a lot of people would be like, oh, like he's bad, you know, blame the map on him. I hope we don't get this very often because Ghosty has had a good run, you know, since he's joined. And then in map 5, the usual Optic go off. Dashy once again had the best KD. And he had great form. And my question is Dashy taking MVP form going into this major?
Yeah, I think that Bruce has been like the momentum that this Optic team has given, like the just all of the players on Optic, like the confidence that this team has instilled when it comes to their players, like they can play their game. All of them individually can play their game and do what they have to do, and I think that helps Bruce a lot. Like just overall, things have been going good for him. In the beginning of the season, he had a lot of ups and downs with like the vibes of the team, the coaching, and just you could tell that he wasn't in a good spot mentally. But I think that this is where you see him when he's vibing, he's enjoying himself, and when he's on that like type of flow state of like life type of like environment, he's able to go crazy. I think like you see the same thing with shotzzy. I think they're just running off of the momentum and like enjoying it. So yeah, bro, I definitely think that Bruce is hitting his form, like hitting peak form, like you said about the Vegas event. Like at Champs, I was there in BO4 when he won, and it was crazy. Bruce had a stupid like performance, like insane performance, unreal performance. So excited to see them at Champs. But my question going into this major is this Optics major to win? Like is this Optic majors to win? Their number one seed, or their number one seed going into this major. Like, yeah, is this Optic event to win?
Coming from an Optic fan, this is probably as true as it gets. And I do have bias, but I think they have the momentum. They're really good. They're 8-0 in hardpoint this major, this qualifiers. But I think that they still have to be consistent against an Ultra and LA Thieves. You never know. LA Thieves on land, they get really good. Even FaZe has a land buff, I feel like, as well. So you never know. Maybe it does seem like they have an easier bracket. And I know we're gonna make a video on the bracket and all that. But I think that with Optic can make a run, and if they get to the winners finals, then yeah, maybe I think that's all they need. Their hardpoint's too good for them not to win a major, and yeah, I think this is their only chance of at least being the favorites into a major.
Yeah, and then even speaking of like the major, like Breach was probably the only team other than LAT to like push them, and like that's their match, like that's their first match of the major, brother. So I'm definitely excited to see just how that plays out, if Krem can transition that momentum he had in the series into that one. But hopping into the next match, we have Surge versus FaZe. And on the last episode of the Prize Pick'ems, I mentioned that like this Seattle team like really like put FaZe like team to the test. Like every time they play, they push them. Like even if they'll go map 5, or like they'll either pull out a win or have a very close loss. But this time they dominated them, bro. They come out, they 3-0'd them. The map 1 Hydro HP. Seattle's able to win the HP, man. Sib goes insane. He has like a 1.8. And I want to show love to Mac on this map. He had a 1.39. Like he's like the X factor of this team. He gets a lot of like bad talk, like kind of like the same like situation where Illy was on when Illy was on Optic. Like if Mac does bad, like if people look at him and like, yo, like what is this dude doing? But overall, bro, like Surge looks really well. Slasher really need to wake up, bro. Yeah, 8 kills, bro. Like as a main AR, you have 8 kills. That is insane. Like that's crazy, bro. Like somebody was saying that he needed to put his hat on because he didn't have his hat on like that in the series. And they were like, bro, that fool gets powers with his hat. I don't know why he took it off. And yeah, man, going into the map 2, you have Surge. They win. They get them like carry the momentum over from the HP. They win 6-4. The Pred, bro, he continues to fry, bro. Yeah, 2.17. Like it's insane how consistent this dude is in S&D, bro. He's him, bro. It's actually insane. Map 3. A CeeLo control. Pred drops a 2.0. FaZe looks so like flat, bro. They didn't, I don't know what. It had to be like the 8 kills or something, bro. Like that hard point, it was a pretty close hard point. It wasn't like they got destroyed, but like they just looked flat, bro. Seattle came out and they came out swinging, bro. And I don't think FaZe was ready for it. And the question that I have for this series is basically like there's been a lot of drama with Seattle and Pred, and there's a lot of rumors going on with Pred, and I even seen rumors about him joining FaZe. How true that could be, it might just be COD people just trying to throw things in the air. But like, my question is, do you think Pred will resign to Seattle after this season?
Honestly, and it's gonna go into my talk about this matchup, this Pred Simp matchup. But I don't know. I think Pred knows he has a number on most of these SMG players, and he knows that if he has an Mboze, a shotzzy, like a crazy SMG duo. I know Mac isn't horrible, but if he had a chance to team with one of these top SMG duos and make a superstar roster, I think he'd take it. And I know a lot of people were saying, I know Methodz said it in the Optic Watch Party that, you don't get that many chances to be an unrestricted free agent and pick your actual team that you will play for the next, I don't know, maybe 3 years. And that's a lot of time in COD. 3 years stuck on one team can change a career. And I think that he should take a chance on a different team. I don't think he'll stay. My odds that he leaves, I don't know what team. You could put him in I think subliners. I know it's a kind of like a heavy stack, but I think that Priester really hasn't showed, and I think he'd fit well. Maybe put the Bulldog on a flex and then have a Hydra Pred duo. You never know. He can join any team. He would make them way better. And I don't think Surge has maybe enough money or manpower to make Surge better. So honestly, he has better odds on a different team. I think he leaves. I think FaZe or Optic would be the best options for him. But yeah, I mean, now for my turn, I think that this series was good. Like I said, Simp didn't show out. Every map you can look at it. He had a bad map on all 3 maps. Pred shut him out completely. And we got LaPred. He went off in the hard point. Sib definitely closed out the match for them, going 31-17. Had a really good map 1. And then LaPred took over in map 2, going 13-6 with a 2.17 KD. And then map 3, map 3, he goes 24-12, and Simp just doesn't have a good series. And it might be his kryptonite. So my question is, with this win, beating a FaZe, is Surge a top 4 going into this major?
Yeah, I definitely think they edged it out. I think with this dominant fashion, how they been playing, how they played throughout this qualifier, I think they're definitely a T4. I think even when it comes to like the seeding, I think that it's a crazy tie, but they're still up there. Yeah, they're third right now, so they have a better map percentage win. So yeah, bro, I definitely think right now they're considered. I got them considered in third. So yeah, they're definitely a T4 team. And then hopping into the last match, we have LAT versus Rocker. And honestly, bro, like as an LAT supporter, bro, I really think that this showing, even with the loss of to Optic, they still showed like how good they are. They play really good against Rocker, man. Like I truly think that Rocker couldn't touch them. Like this momentum, they're vibey, they're going crazy. Kenny is hitting form. With this win, they get 2nd seed. It's a great turnaround from the previous qualifier. So and then like map 1, we have LAT winning 250-245. Super close map, man. Kenny almost drops the 40 bomb. Map 2, we have Embassy S&D. They destroy them, bro. LAT literally destroy Rocker. They win 6-1. Drives with a 4.0. Kenny with a 3.0. We hop into map 3, Expo Control. LAT wins 3-0, looking dominant, bro. The team played great. Octane dropped to 2.1 this map. I'm excited to see them on land, bro. They have the 2nd seed. I think they play against Rocker again for the first match of the major, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, LAT plays against Rocker again for the first map. And I think every time that they play against the Rocker boys, they put them down. And Yeah, like I guess the question that I have is like, bro, did the one man change even do anything? Did the one man change really do anything, or would a two man change been better for Rocker? Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know if the one man change was a thing or if fame was the right switch. Either way, I think they should have done two man. I think Vance probably would have been gone, take out, attach, bring in two challengers. Probably would have done better. I know Cammy and Afro have been doing pretty well. And we've gotten a different Cammy without attach. So maybe, you know, attach and Cammy weren't really meshing well. But yeah, like you said, I mean, I'm happy going into the series. I'm happy that Kenny, we saw the, you know, the old Kenny, the World War II Kenny, 38 and 26 in map one. And he shut out. They won a close match, but he definitely, you know, carried the momentum. And even in map two, he goes 9-3. They win 6-1, like you said. And Kenny went off. I mean, obviously Draza had a better KD, but you know, this S&D duo with him and Draza went amazing. Map 3, everybody on LA Thieves was good. Octane has a 2.13 KD. Yeah, my question was kind of the same. You know, did they make the right switch in player? Was Fame the right player they should have put in? You know, there's so many other challengers players, like a Mohawk, could have been in this team. But what do you think? Should have they done another challenger player? Can they still make a switch? Going into the last two majors.
Honestly, man, like I think that with the it's so hard because like I think they have two in my mind they have two options where they bring attach back and they drop one more player and try that, or they could keep Fame and then drop a player and then bring someone else in. But I definitely think the one man roster change didn't work. And they got jaded. Like I think they got jaded because they played two matches on land, and felt good about themselves and was like, oh yeah, we're a good team, blah, blah, blah. And then they come online and just get destroyed. I think that them doing that actually hurt them, honestly. Like, yeah, it helped them when it comes to points and stuff, but like you got two free matches basically. Like you're a home, like you're basically like a home team. You have two free matches on land, and you go online and you don't transition well at all. So like I definitely think that either attach needs to get picked back up, and like the coaches need to stay out of it when it comes to that and just let attach play how he wants to play. But I don't know who they could pick up. I don't know if they even got that in their like they got that in their bag where they're looking at somebody. I know like there are up and coming like challenger players like Real and like people like that they could pick up. Mohawk, like you said. Like there's players out there that's ready to be called up, but I don't know if they're willing to risk it because they're in a tricky situation.
Yeah, man. I think they have to figure it out though. I don't like you said, map one or round one for them, they're gonna play a phase again. We all know what's gonna happen. I don't think we'll get a different result, and I think they will have to change. They're in the brink of not even making champs. Once again, another year back to back, and I don't think they want that. So I think they should look into challengers and look who to bring up.
All right, and then we hopping into the three standout players of the weekend. So we have Abizi, Standy, and Hook. Do you agree with this? Like, do you agree with the CDL picking these three players?
I think Abizi had a good series that we talked about against Rocker. Standy had two great series, and Hook has been doing good this whole qualifier. I don't think Abizi's a bad pick. He did stand completely out in that series. I don't know who you could have put in. I know for sure the other two were well reserved or well deserved to be up there. But Abizi had one really good series. During the weekend.
Okay. And then speaking of the qualifier, we're gonna show the standings. So here are the standings going into Major 4. So we have OpTic with a 5-0 map count, crazy, or 5-0 like win. They're 15-3 with the maps, And look at how many teams that are 4-1. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 teams, 4-1. Obviously, when it comes to the tie, like the record, it goes into the map count, like the map percentage win. And yeah, so LAT's second seed, Surge pulls out a third seed, which is amazing for them. Florida fourth, or New York fourth, Vegas fifth, and then you have FaZe, Rocker, and Boston in the 6, 7, 8 spot. Do you have any like looking at the standing, bro? I know we Surge pulling out a like a 4-1 weekend, and New York pulling out a 4-1 weekend. Like are you surprised about this result?
Honestly, I watch the matches and I rarely look at like the results and the standings for the qualifiers, because I feel like it's online, it doesn't matter. But looking at it right now, I mean, I can't remember subliners. I didn't even think they'd be 4-1.
Yeah.
It's kind of surprising. In my mind, I thought Legion were up there, maybe top 4, maybe top 3, because of how many tough matches they had against Ultra. They had a bunch of like game 5s. And to see them finish 4-1, I was like, maybe they'd be top 3, top 4 seed. But subliners and Surge kind of came in clutch. And like you said, I don't even think anybody thought they'd be ending 4-1. I mean, surprised to see Ultra 1-4, Breach dropped tremendously 2-3, and then even FaZe 3-2. That's kind of sad. But yeah, I mean, that subliners, Legion, and Surge, definitely a weird end for the qualifiers. And in my vision, I see Legion improving more than the other two, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they had a steeper jump. I think the matches they played, they had to win them, might not even been the favorites to win them, and they definitely came out and showed like how good they are as a team. So yeah, and just showing the standings, based off of the standings, we hop into Major 4, man. So this is Major 4. We're just gonna briefly talk about the bracket. We'll go into a deep dive, give our predictions in the Pick'ems episode. But I just wanted to show the bracket, man. So yeah, man, take a look at it, bro. We have Optic versus Breach, round 1, Subliners versus Legion, right? Like match 2. The third match is LAT versus Rocker. And then Seattle versus FaZe, bro. Like, I think like these win around 1 matches are insane, bro. A lot of them are replays of the last weekend of like the qualifiers. So people get their rematches, man. Breach get their rematch. Rocker get their rematch. FaZe gets their rematch. Like, it's insane, bro. I'm excited to see how this turns out. And yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to stop you, but it doesn't show on stream on the share screen.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
I didn't want to stop you because you can still put your cut in though.
Yeah, I can just show the picture.
I didn't want to stop you though, but I'll say it because I can't see it. I'm looking at the share screen, my bad. And then I'll say my part. I didn't want to stop because it was going good. All right, let me know.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, man. A lot of rematches. Last major, we had a bunch of upsets. Our pick'ems wasn't perfect. And I think for me, this major, I think it's the bounce back major. I think a lot of these teams that have lost online, like a FaZe, and even like a Subliners. I know Subliners got DFR last major. Like, this is their chance to bounce back. I know even like Optic comes in as a bounce back because they got first rounded by Breach. I think the sad one is seeing Ultra starting in losers. That's kind of bad coming from a winner that just won last major. The other 3, we knew that they were going to be losers bracket. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a bounce back. This is a chance for all these winners bracket teams to show that they're better on LAN, and especially coming from like a FaZe and a Subliners team who we're struggling and aren't on a high right now. But yeah, I think it's a bounce back major.
Yeah, and going like not diving in too deep into this event, we're gonna jump into the announcement. We said it a lot throughout this whole like podcast, but we have Vegas announcement as the champs. We're doing it at Vegas this year, June 15th through the 18th, man. The Thomas and Mack Center. I'm super excited for champs, bro. I like this probably normally is my favorite event. I think overall, like I really enjoy just like the intense moments, bro. It's coming down to the end, dude. So we have kind of like so we have Optic like number 1, we have phase number 2 right now, and I'm super excited to see just if Thieves are able to make a run, like the storylines of Vegas. It's so many, like it's so hype, brother. I'm super excited for this event.
Yeah, for me, it's gonna come down to this points standings for the overall season. And kind of happy that Optic's on the up right now. And like I said earlier in the episode, Dashi performs really well in Vegas. So I'm happy for as an Optic fan. But there's too many storylines. Hoping pulling for a Vegas Legion to make it through. To see how far Thieves can make it up on the ladder. I know they're not, they're 5th right now, but they might be better than a New York. I know New York has that, win. So they have a bigger boost in points. But even in Ultra, you never know. They might fall back, and we might see a new top 3 after this major.
Yeah, and then hopping into the standings, like of just the overall CDL like season, man, we have FaZe at number 1. We have Ultra number 2, Optic number 3, New York number 4, LAT number 5, Breach number 6, Surge 7, Rocker 8, Legion 9, and these bottom 3 teams, bro, it's crazy because like the fact that LAG, like, dude, LAG, Florida, and Ravens, like they're in some insane spots. Like I don't know if I think it might be blow it up for them.
Yeah, they're done.
Just like it's so like they're so far gone. But like Vegas needs to do good this major, because if they do good this major, if they get like a top 4 placement or something like that, or a top 6 or top 4, whatever, they could definitely jump over Rocker for the AC, bro. I think depending on how these like the Breach, the Surge, the Rocker play, if Vegas comes out and does better than them, bro, they have a chance of catching up with a lot of these teams, man. And like you said about the Ultra team, if they don't do good, they could drop to like 5th place. Thieves could go up. Like so much things could happen based off of this event. So yeah, man, it's insane.
Yeah, I think 4th through 7th, I think that will change after this major, and we might see a Surge top 5. We might see a Boston top 8. You never know. Boston might drop really low. If we get a good Vegas tournament, they might make up for a lot of points. And then Subliners and Ultra might be the only 2 teams that really take a big leap down. And yeah, it's just really close in the middle. And I think Thieves are right now on a hot spree, and same as Texas. Optic, they're gonna definitely get way more points than they have now. So I think there will be some big major changes after this major. But like you said, we'll keep it for our predictions video and see what we do.
Yeah, man, that concludes the podcast, man. Thank you guys so much for checking out the episodes. If you guys aren't like a visual like watching, if you guys don't like watching on YouTube, we are also on Spotify. All the episodes, the podcast episodes will be uploaded onto Spotify. I have all of that stuff in the link in the description below. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Goodbye.